Hey there, everyone. It's GG Sober Sun. December 18th. Unless we have the key of faith to unlock the meaning of life, we are lost. We do not choose faith because it is one way for us, but because it's the only way. Many have failed and will fail. For we cannot live victoriously without faith. We are at sea without a rudder or an anchor, drifting on the sea of life, wayfarers without a home. Our souls are restless until they find rest in God. Without faith, our lives are meaningless, a meaningless succession of unrelated happenings, without rhyme or reason. Have I come to rest in faith? And I would say amen to that. I do really, I kind of learned growing up to go along to get along kind of thing. My father loved me very much, but he also was deathly afraid of me making the same mistakes he made. And one mistake he made cost him his hand. He actually got lost his hand in a work accident that could have been prevented. And so I think because of that trauma, he was, basically carried that on into his relationship with me. He didn't want me to make that kind of mistake. And he was very much an if only kind of guy. So he really tried to, I can see it more clearly now, of course, but he really tried to relive his childhood through me, and like I said, tried to prevent me from making mistakes in general, and that was his expression of love. But if I wanted to do something, like, for example, I was very tall for my age. I was his height when I was 12. He was 6 feet tall. And so he wanted me to just play basketball after the 8th grade. And I enjoyed running track and field, but he wanted me to focus only on, I enjoyed and was good at running track and field. I usually took first in every event, 220, the high jump, and a couple others I can't remember. But and all the high school coaches really wanted me to come out and run track, and he wouldn't allow me to do that, right? So I learned to basically shut down my desires, my wants, my ambitions, really, except in basketball and playing basketball. And then there I poured everything into that, because that was allowed. And then, of course, after I graduated high school and the full ride basketball scholarships didn't come along, I joined the military, and they told me where to go, what clothes to wear. They gave me a place to live, they gave me, food to eat, and what time they trained me how to do a good job, all that stuff, and I just learned to go along to get along. If I was going to move somewhere, it was because the military told me I was going to move somewhere. I didn't have have a choice in that. I just took whatever came along. And so when I retired from the military, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I've shared before, I'm pretty sure that I thought about what job could I do that could equal the mission of the military, the United States military, and I realized that sharing my experience, strength, and hope is a very good mission, as I've often quoted, as I cling to the thought that in God's hands, my dark past can mean life for others. That's a pretty good mission. That's from the chapter, The Family Afterward. So, meditation for the day. This vast universe around us, including this wonderful earth on which we live, was once perhaps only a thought in the mind of God. The nearer the astronomers and the physicists get to the ultimate composition of things, the nearer the universe approaches a mathematical formula, which is thought. The universe may be the thought of the great thinker. We must try to think God's thoughts after him. We must try to get guidance from the divine mind as to what his intention for the world and what part we can have in carrying out that intention. That's a very wordy way to say seek God's will. No, but really, I mean, I think the substance of this world had to come from somewhere, and really they are physicists, especially when you talk about quantum physics. They're getting closer and closer to realizing that it had to come from somewhere. You can't get something out of nothing. And so that's pretty deep. And I love, sort of the thought experiment of that God knew before the foundations of the earth that I would be sitting here talking about him right here and right now in this time and space. And that, that's pretty interesting, if at the very least. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may not worry over the limitations of my human mind. I pray that I may live as though my mind were a reflection of the divine mind. Boy, I needed to hear that this morning. I've been pretty low lately. Just it's the anniversary of a breakup, long-term relationship breakup, and so I'm reflecting a lot more than usual, I suppose. And in some ways, I've gotten out of my routine of coming here to the beach. One, because it's a lot chillier this time of year. Still very, very beautiful. And it's well, for whatever reason, a lot of things going on, you know, and I just need to remember that I'm a child of God with infinite worth. I'm always taken care of. There are no accidents in God's universe. I should say, all things work for the good in God's universe, no matter how horrible it may seem. And I've seen a lot of horrible things in my life, but I don't and I should say I can dwell on them, just like my dad can dwell on his mistake and it impact my relationship. I have to be mindful of how my dwelling on the past can negatively impact my relationships with my friends and family. And so it's best if I correct course and move on. So, to be of maximum use, to be of maximum service to my higher power and those he puts in my life. I wouldn't have this. I wouldn't have that perspective if it wasn't for AA. If it wasn't for God giving me AA, leading me to AA, and AA giving me a better relationship and better understanding of who God is. A God that's personal to me. So, I will keep coming back. I hope y'all will too. Chin up. Aim up. Rise up.